Steph, y'all have done a great job over the years of putting teams in desperation mode. They're in that situation now, so what's your expectation of how they're going to approach things right off the bat tomorrow?
I mean, whenever you change venues, you know, that first quarter, usually high adrenaline, high intensity. They're going to, like you say, play with desperation. And it's going to be a game of runs, we know that. Historically in this building, you know, they've gotten off to great starts, and hopefully we can do something about that early tomorrow. But it's going to be a long 48-minute game, and we have a great opportunity, obviously, to come in and continue to feed off the momentum we built at home, but understand how tough it's going to be.
How's that finger feel compared to Tuesday?
Feels all right. It's going to hurt, but it is what it is at this point. Just got to keep playing.
What has Chris Paul meant to you in your career?
I mean, I talked about a lot about I was coming in as a rookie that summer before I made it out to the Bay. Pretty much shadowed him wherever he went. Worked out with him and his trainer at the time, and understood the work ethic and just the perspective of a guy who at that time was going into his fourth or fifth year, I can't remember, but had established himself and was still trying to get better. So I got to see that firsthand and put me outside my comfort zone for sure. And then obviously, you know, his consistency since he's been in the league, he's kind of set the pace. And you know, we've had a lot of battles, obviously, when he's with the Clippers and now with Houston. So two guys from North Carolina trying to represent, you know, where we're from the best way we can.
Is he like your honorary vet? Do you have a circle of guys you consider honorary vets?
He was, I mean, definitely a guy I looked up to in terms of, like I said, just seeing the time and the work that he put into his craft. When I got to the Bay, Ronnie Turioff and Corey Maggette were my two guys that kind of helped me understand what it was like to be a professional in this league. But yeah, I've had a lot of guys that have influenced me for sure.
What was that moment like last year when he did the shimmy?
The what?
When Chris did the shimmy.
Oh, y'all digging deep today, huh?
Right.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say about that?
I don't know what you thought about it.
That money quote though, like if you're gonna shimmy.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
down.
I can get shimmied on and take it on the chin. It is what it is.
Steph, what's it say about the team this year that y'all have been so dominant on the road? Whenever you're trying to make a statement in a series or even in the regular season, have the best point differential away from home?
I don't know exactly what the formula is, but we feed off each other's energy. You know, when we come into a road building and understand it's just us. You know, and you know how tough that toughness that you need to weather the storm on the road and just find ways to win games any way that you can. So you don't become champions without having that ability. We got to tap into that this series as well.
Do you think having two kind of gritty, closer games at home is going to help you all moving forward in Houston now, instead of it being like a blowout?
Not really. I don't think that's a difference maker. We understand what the vibe is, and when they go on runs, how loud I can get in that building. And defensively for us is where we're going to earn our money tomorrow. Understand that they're going to come out just firing from everywhere and playing really aggressive. We have to just keep our composure. And again, understand that no matter what's happened, we've been down double digits in the first half plenty of times and found our way to come back, just play a full 48-minute game and try not to beat yourself throughout the course of the game.
Steph, I want to ask you real quick. You told the New York Times you ranked every arena for popcorn. You ranked the Toyota Center number 7 in the league. What makes the Toyota Center's popcorn so good?
If you read the story, you get the reason of the rankings, but it's good stuff. That top 10 is pretty competitive. So honestly, I don't know what the big difference between like number 3 and number 7. The top 2 they're undefeated, but that 3 to 7 range is kind of interchangeable. 7 to 15, and then when you get below that, slim pickings.
Well, you Dallas number 1 and Dallas and Houston, kind of rivals. You know that, right?
We don't know where they source their kernels from. We don't know. You have to ask them.
Medina, those are the good questions.
Yeah.
Steph, are the playoffs a time that are easier or more difficult for players to block out distractions?
I mean, I think it's easier just because you're not changing cities so much. Like when you're on the road, when you're on road trips in the regular season, you know, whether it's 2, 3, 4 games, 5 games, whatever it is, it's always mentally challenging. Stay locked in, get on a plane, changing hotels, forgetting your room numbers, all that type of stuff. But when it comes to like just locking in on the task at hand, it's honestly pretty easy in terms of just whatever you do on a daily basis. It's all with the perspective and keeping your body, your mind a priority, getting ready for games. And if you have a break in between, getting away for a little bit, refreshing, finding whatever you do to find joy in life, and you lock back in. So comes with experience, obviously, because I'm sure that first run we had was a bit overwhelming, and there's a lot of stuff coming at you, and the pressure and intensity was just elevated that much more. But after you go through it a couple times, you start to figure it out.
Steph, urgency has been such a big buzzword for you all year, but specific to this series, why do you think it has been so much better to start than it has maybe at times during the regular season and even at times in that Clippers series?
I mean, regular season playoffs is obviously, that's self-explanatory in terms of how it's been elevated. But when you talk about the Clippers series, they were a great team and they challenged us. We had stretches where we were dominant, and then they challenged us at times. And this first series, our first 2 games against Houston, we understood how important it was to take care of home court, considering how bad it had been, for a while, and we're able to do that. It wasn't pretty at all times, but we got 2 wins, and that's all that matters. Coming into Game 3, I think the conversation is around that first quarter, first half, where we know how hard they're going to play, and I mean, I don't know who the pressure's on, but it's going to be a high intensity type of environment. We got to be able to handle that and get off to a great start and continue to build out that momentum, like I said. So this is a great opportunity for us to have a sense of urgency when it comes to the task at hand.
Kevin said that along those lines, that a key to the reason your sense of urgency is so high is because y'all know this team can beat you. How do you view that thought?
Any team can beat us if we're not locked in and playing the right brand of basketball and playing with toughness and focus and whatnot. We know we're not invincible, but when we are locked in, we're tough to beat. So the best thing that we can do is, like we always say, control what we can control, and that's our focus, our intensity, multiple efforts, and just the little things that separate a good team from a great team from a championship winning team.
Except on that note, the reduced turnovers you guys had in Game 2 and having more shot attempts, what's the key in carrying that over?
Just keeping things simple. We sometimes have a tendency to play too fast and take chances that we don't really need to, and sometimes that feeds on itself because we feel so good about where we're at that we get a little loose with it. So, especially on the road and against a team like Houston, that they take advantage of every turnover opportunity. And at home, that's where you give the crowd a chance to get into it. You give them easy buckets and fuel their momentum. Winning the possession game is key for us in our success in the Toyota Center.